sir. How you doing? How you doing?
There's some good ones. There's some bad ones. And then there's ones like today, where you get a lot of stuff done, but then you have to leave early. And so you didn't get as much done as you wanted. But we're here. We're cooking.
That is true.
The chef be cooking.
Hey, making a sacrifice for the greater good. Is that how it goes?
Yeah. You could say that, you could say that. How about yourself, sir? How are things in that part-time job you got over there at Toyota?
I know, right? 4 days a week, got to be part-time or something. Well, today was a good day. Today we made 14 hours, and then I ended up leaving at 4:15. I didn't do anything the last 2 hours at work though, because it was just dead. And I'm last week I was pretty aggressive on the hours. I had 80 hours in 4 days, and some of my coworkers were complaining. So I was like, let me loosen up this week. And the past 2 days, I literally have 10 hours combined together. And today I was like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I can't
clamp down on that.
Yeah. So tomorrow, if I have to come in 5 days, if I have to come in Friday and work, it is what it is. Tomorrow I'm coming in to work. My goal is at least 20 hours that day, or 15 to 20 or 13 to 20, just give me some slack. I have to hit 40 though for the week. If I don't hit 40, then I got to come in Friday and try to hit 50. I gotta do something, bro. I got the house. I'm closing the 28th, brother. We gotta get things move on. Can't slack. But speaking about flagging hours, and speaking about the greater good, this introduction video is for the greater good that we have a certain guest today. Goes by the name Serrated Mobius, not
I don't
Morbius.
know why you can't say it right.
Serrated.
Yeah, but when you said it the first time, it was serrated.
Yeah, serrated. I'm just saying it like that. I'm just saying it like that. I'm putting an emphasis on it. But yes, serrated Mobius, aka Eric. You can give it further introduction.
Mercedes Master Technician.
Yes, Mercedes Master Technician. He's pretty popular. He's got his own podcast that he's been doing a long time. I think you spoke to him before. You said he's been on social media for a very long time, since 2012. I'm kind of really wondering about how he even got here, or how he even started, and how long he's been a tech. So
he's got a pretty interesting story, because he was doing content before he was even a technician, and even his content is more like comical rather than just like shop content. But he's a funny guy, he's popular, and so it's nice to kind of talk to somebody who does content but doesn't focus on automotive content. So it'll be nice to have a conversation with him. And what was that catchphrase you were saying earlier?
It's morbid time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the WOTPod, starring the best co-host duo in the nation. Me, Jalid, as always, and Curtis, the GOAT, right here. We have a wonderful guest today, Eric up above us, aka also known as Serrated Mobius. Thank you for being on here, man. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Happy to be here, man.
Heck yeah. We're happy to have you on too. I love the setup and everything, man. I mean, we can start this right off the bat, going about how long you've been doing this and how did you even get to where you are today. I see your social media page. You got over 100,000 on Instagram, man. Congrats.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. I'll try not to, I know you guys need to be no cursing. So I apologize if one slips out.
Oh no, you're good, man. We're technicians here. We try to keep it clean, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to filter it out. So,
okay. Well, I've been, as I told you before we recorded, I've been what's the word I'm looking for? I've been creating content. There we go. I've been creating content since 2012. And so I've just been, over the years, just making whatever comes to mind. I started riding motorcycles in 2016. In that year, I started doing motorcycle reviews on my YouTube. That got me to about 1,000 subscribers in about a couple years. My social medias didn't really take off until 2022 when I posted a comedic Snapchat compilation of me being an idiot at work. And I had been a Mercedes technician at that time for about 3 years, 4 years, started in 2019. And yeah, that's what blew up my social medias. And I've gotten on the YouTube, I've got over 6,000 subscribers now. So
Jeez.
Hey, that's one heck of a feat right there. I know those subscribers and the followers are hard to keep them entertained sometimes. And I remember, I think 2022 is before we started doing content, but I think I remember that first Snapchat compilation where it was just random stuff throughout your week, and I was like, "This is hilarious."
yeah,
Dang.
that was a comedy style that I had built up since creating content in 2012. Like back in 2014, I did the same, or 2015, excuse me, around that time, I did the same style of video, like a bunch of supercuts of random noises and moments when me and my friends were playing Rocket League when it first came out. So it's just a content style that I've always done, and it finally took off
Hey,
just
stuck
recently.
with it.
Because like I posted that first out of context reel, and nothing happened for 2 straight weeks. And then 2 weeks later, it started getting picked up. I During that wave, I posted 2 more videos, and all 3 of those videos each hit 1 million views.
Oh wow!
And
Right
I
away.
went from 350 followers to 40,000 in 1 month. Which was like I was getting heart palpitations. I was so stressed out about it. I was like, my boss is going to see this. I'm going to get fired. Like, but
Be like that.
I talked to him a little bit about 3 weeks after all that happened, and he looked at me and said, "Dude, I love what you're doing. Like, this is great." Like, and that's why I've just been able to keep doing it since 2022. So
That is
That's awesome. Yeah.
So you say you started recording in 2012. What were you doing in 2012? Were you in the automotive industry at that point?
no, I was working at Target at the time.
Oh,
I was a electronics associate at Target, and
no Target content.
no, Snapchat wasn't around back then.
Okay.
But no, I would just like the first video that I ever uploaded to YouTube was a like 1 hour long uncut gameplay video of me and my friends that was completely unfunny. And that's just what you do if you want to start making content. Your first few videos are going to suck, but you just got to keep going so you can get better at it. That's the whole thing. So
Maybe maybe some of us as a first 100 feel pretty awful, or you just gotta start. I feel like sometimes I post now and I'm like, that was terrible, but I'm just gonna send it, and those are always the ones that do better.
So
But,
how
usually how it works.
did you end up going from Target to the automotive industry? Like, so
That's
what's
a
this time
long
frame, bro?
story. I'll
Tell
try to condense it as much as possible. But started work like I worked. My first job was Target. Did that for 5 years. The backstory behind that is like just after I started working at Target, my dad passed away.
My condolences.
So I kind of went through it kind of threw a wrench in like my life pretty much. So I kind of stayed stagnant for about 4 or 5 years. So I just worked at Target, had no desire to move up, didn't do anything like that. I just was at the, sales, uh, electronic sales section for 5 straight years. And then I got fed up with that. Uh, I decided to do Uber for a little bit. 3 months into that, they cut the earnings that you would get through Uber, which I was like, okay, this is no longer sustainable. And then around that time is when I started riding motorcycles. I have a BMW S1000RR that I inherited from my father. And it took a little while for me to get the courage to start riding that thing because it's a 1000cc super bike. I was like terrified of it. I didn't want to mess it up. But around that time, that's when I started riding it because it was either let it sit forever and rot away, or actually start writing it and let it have its story. So that's why I decided to start writing it. I started working at a motorcycle dealership because of that. And that was for 6 months. Left because of toxic management. Was not a fan of how they were running it. That was the most stressful job I had had in my life at the time. And then left that job, started working at Cycle Gear, which is a motorcycle parts and apparel store. Worked there for a little bit, and while I was at Cycle Gear, I was researching things to do with my life because it's starting to. This is 2017. I'm starting to figure out like I need to do something. While I'm watching a Formula One race in the middle of the night with my mother, an advertisement comes up for NASCAR Tech. So NASCAR Technical Institute is a Universal Technical Institute school in Mooresville, North Carolina. I see that advertisement and I'm like, there it is. That's what I want to do right there. I always told myself when I was a kid that if there was a school for NASCAR, I was like, I'm going to go. And like a month later, my mom takes me over there and we tour the place. We tour the school. They had that's where I learned that they had a program where if you're like the best in class for engines and you're taking the NASCAR program, you get to go into what's called spec engine. And spec engine is where you build a pushrod V8 from the ground up. Like block is completely bare. You like machine the pistons to where they fit across the head, where the head goes. You completely build the entire engine, and that engine goes on to a race. Like it goes to race. Like that's what the best students there do. And I told myself when I first started there, that's what I wanted to do. So I worked as hard as I could at that school to get into spec engine, and I ended up getting to spec engine a year after I started. So that's what got me into that. And then while I was at NASCAR Tech, like the end goal was to get into motorsports. I wanted to be like part of the pit crew. I wanted to be part of the race team in some way. And while I was there, I got a job at the outdoor go-kart track in the area, which was called GoPro Motorplex, but now it's called Trackhouse Motorplex. And while I was working there, I was completely engulfed in the racing world. Like actual NASCAR drivers go there and practice with their own go-karts. A whole bunch of the younger guys that are in NASCAR now, like Noah Gragson and John Hunter Nemechek, they went there to go like race the rental carts a whole bunch of times. They destroyed the rental carts all the time, every single time they went there, which was hilarious. And in that world, being in that world, I realized it's kind of volatile, not a lot of job security, and the main thing is you have to know somebody in the industry, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a social media presence back then. So I decided to do something that was a little bit more secure. And during what's the word I'm looking for? During an assembly at the school, they came out and started talking about these MSATs, manufacturer paid training programs. One of them was Mercedes. And the main selling point that the Mercedes recruiter was talking about is the fact that you can work anywhere in the country if you're master certified. Doesn't matter. Like you can go anywhere in the country, even in the world, walk in, be like, hey, I'm master certified with Mercedes, because Mercedes has their own training program. They don't pay attention to ASE's at all. And if you're master certified with Mercedes, the like shop service manager will be like, can you start yesterday? Like that was the main selling point. And I was like, well, if I want to move in with my now fiance, that'll be the smartest thing to do. So I decided to go into Mercedes. It was nice to go into Mercedes because I went to an F1 Grand Prix in 2013, and that was back when they had the SLS safety car. And seeing that safety car just go across Circuit of the Americas full blast, and hearing that V8 engine that Mercedes has, I fell in love with the brand immediately back then. So going into Mercedes with that was another added benefit. So that's pretty much as condensed as I could get it. That's the story of how I got into going from Target to being a Mercedes tech.
A Mercedes master technician too.
Now, yes.
Yes, tell us a little bit about your journey at Mercedes. Not just how you got to Mercedes, but like, have you moved around, or I think you said you're only been Mercedes tech for 6-7 years, and you're already master certified. That's that's a pretty tall task, and you're here, and you talk about motorsports. I see you with the Mercedes Formula One team, Legos, and other things like little cars and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it seems like now you're pretty passionate about Mercedes, and I'm curious to hear more about the dealership life for you and what that's like on a daily basis.
Cool. So getting master certified so early, that's a direct result of going into that Mercedes MSAT. It's called the Mercedes-Benz Drive Program. And it's a 4-month-long program where you go to the training center in Jacksonville. They've got a whole bunch across the country, but I went to the one in Jacksonville. You live in Jacksonville for 4 months. And you basically learn how the scan tool works, the Mercedes-Benz specific scan tool, which is called Zentry. And you learn how that works, and you learn how to work with workshop information systems. We call it WIS. And WIS is basically it's like all data. It's the instructions on how to do a job. And in order to find what you need to know how to work it. And that's basically what you do for 4 months is you learn how to work on that stuff. You do all the, I can't think of words right now. It's exams. Like you have physical exams where you actually work on the car and stuff like that. But passing the drive program, you immediately go into a dealership and you're already 75% of the way through training in just that 4 months. And all you have to do is take a few more instructor-led classes and work as a technician for 5 years, and you have mastered. That's all it takes. So I started working at a motorcycle. I started working at a Mercedes dealer at my hometown. And that allowed me to move back in with my mom, save a little bit of money. And worked there for 2 years and 10 months. They allowed me to do all of the hard stuff immediately. Cause going into that Mercedes-Benz MSAT, they talk about being a CDT, which is a certified diagnostic technician. There's only a select few in the country because it's so hard to get that certification. If you have a 99.5 on your final exam to become a CDT, you fail. You have to have a perfect score. And that's what I want to do. I want to do all the hard stuff. I want to figure out how to diag. The first thing that I did when I walked into that first dealership, my team leader was a former Marine. And he looks at me and goes, "Can you read WIS?" I was like, "Yeah." "Do you know how to, do you think you can figure out what's wrong with that car over there?" I was like, "Yeah, probably." He's like, "Go figure it out." And I was like, "Okay." And within 10 minutes, I was like, "Hey, the hood latch is unplugged." It's so immediately I already had a leg up on someone who was hired off the street who has no idea how these cars work. So the first 2 years and 10 months at that dealership was very formative. They gave me a lot of grace. They allowed me to make mistakes, even though in my first year, I didn't break anything at all in my first year. It got to the point where in a shop meeting in front of everybody, my service manager singled me out and said, "You break something, you're scaring me." And I used that as leverage to get my first raise. So that was pretty fun. But
then you broke something, right?
Yeah, about 5 months later, I broke 3 what was it? The TPMS sensors. I broke 3 TPMS sensors, and Mercedes TPMS sensors are $200 a piece. So that was expensive.
Hey,
Just that.
I have a funny story about breaking stuff. I have never blown up until last year, never blown up an engine. And then last year I decided I was going to blow up 2. And so it was
okay.
14 years without blowing up an engine. And then in 1 year, actually in a couple months, blew up 2. I was like, I mean, those aren't $200, but yeah, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, that's oof.
Silly
I,
mistakes.
I just I just did a cylinder head myself, and like turning on an engine after doing a cylinder head is terrifying every single time.
Oh yeah, for sure. In the first stages, you gotta say prayers, and then once you done a bunch of them, you just be like, eh.
Mhm.
I mean, if it breaks, it breaks. I mean, I'm pretty sure I did everything correctly though.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It's like the you start it and it's all loud because it's got no oil in it, and you're like, oh
Yep.
no, oh no.
100%. Freaking like three. How many months ago? I don't know. Maybe like 6-7 months. Doing spark plugs on a Highlander, like 2G RFKS with like at least 230,000 miles, and I'm taking off cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm taking off cylinder 4, the spark plug, and it comes out like all weird, like, and I'm like, this is the second time they got spark plugs because they had this mileage. I didn't think nothing of it though. So when I'm putting a new spark plug in, I put it in by hand. Then I start tightening. Out of nowhere, it go loose. I'm like, whoa.
Ugh.
I'm like, whoa. Like, what's going on here? And I keep on going. I'm just like, and I go with my hand. I'm like, oh, bro, the thread's stripped out. I'm
Mhm.
like, there's no way. So I stop what I'm doing, go to my service manager, write my story. Done. Somehow the service advisor did not see the story that I wrote after I parked the car and handed him the keys. Like I put the keys on his desk. He wasn't there, but I wrote a humongous story, bro, about everything that happened. Bro, let the customer go.
Oh.
Bro, customer came back, bro. That spark plug it didn't shoot out the hole, thank God, but but you could hear it coming in. It was like, and guess what I had to do? Obviously, I did a cylinder head on it. So,
Yep.
hey, at least they paid me internally because I covered my
Hey,
tracks,
that's always
bro.
good. That's
Yeah, I
always
was
good.
like, bro, I cannot do this for free. Like, I literally wrote a story, told you, like, I try my best. But
Mhm.
hey, we all mess up,
Ye-
guys. Whoever's watching, all of us, we
Yep.
all mess up.
We're human. Like it doesn't matter. You could have a master certification, you're still gonna mess up. Like that's how it is.
That's how you
But
learn from those mistakes.
but yeah, going back to that, I was only at my first dealer for 2 years and 10 months. And the reason because of that is because I wanted to move in with my now fiance. She lives a little bit more north than my hometown was. And I decided to move in with her. The town that she was living in at the time had a Mercedes dealer. So I was like, oh, perfect. Go apply there. They gave me an on the spot interview because they just had somebody retire. And I pretty much had the job immediately because of my experience with the other dealership. And working there was smooth. It was all right for the first 4 months. And it was, I don't know if it was the smallest Mercedes dealer in the country, but it only had 10 bays. So it was a very, very, very small dealership. And because of that, when I switched, they couldn't up my pay when I switched over. So they had to keep it the same that it was because I don't know if they couldn't afford to raise it up or something along those lines. But I told them that it was my goal to get master certification. I was at the time 4 instructor led classes away from getting all of that done. And I was like, I want to go get these 4 classes done. I want to get them like completed so I can get my master once my 5 year tenure hits. And they looked at me in the face and said, we're not sending you to training. I was like, oh, cool. So you're going to suppress me from my goal. Sick. And I was only there for about 4 more months before I had switched to another dealer. The area that I'm in is saturated with Mercedes dealers.
I mean, yeah.
They're not close, but they're not super far away either. So we had moved to a different town to the point where there were 3 Mercedes dealers all equidistant from me. And I used that as an opportunity to shop around. And I went to another huge Mercedes dealer that was owned by a corporation. I'm not going to say who, but I decided to go to a more corporate dealer, and over there was fantastic as well. But in my first 2 months, they had a whole bunch of management switches. Like I came in at a transition time, I guess. Because like the first person that I talked to was the service manager. During my interview process, because it's a corporate dealer, it took like 30 days to get hired there. During my interview process, they switched to another service manager. I was like, okay, it's a little weird. And a month after I was hired, there was another service manager. So I'm like, okay, a little weird, but
Unstable.
I decided to just go through with it because then like these guys will send me to training. So they've already promised that. I get all of my trainings done at this dealer, but after that's done, everything just starts to get really strange. Like it kind of felt like the management or like my coworkers and everything as well, they saw me trying to get my master certification as fast as possible. And it almost seemed like they were trying to make me like admit that it didn't mean anything. And like they were trying to down talk me. They were trying to make sure that like even if I get the master certification, they weren't going to give me a raise. That's what it sounded like. They didn't say that specifically, but they were like, when you get your master certification, nothing's going to happen. I'm like, that seems to not be cool. You know what I mean?
And this was the like corporate one, right?
Yeah, this is the big corporate one. This was the third dealer that I was at.
I never understood why. No, I'm not going to say all because I can't speak for all, but I hear so many stories like this of corporate type dealerships where they're run the same way. They were just like talk to you that way, and it's like they're not. They want to get every dollar out of you, and they don't want to help you grow and help you win.
Was this management talking like that, or your coworkers?
This was it was kind of it was a combination of everybody. Like I got a certain vibe from my coworkers. I got a certain vibe from my management. I got a certain vibe from the higher ups because like everything is bureaucratic at this dealership. Like the general manager of this dealer can't just give you a raise. Like it has to go through a board and they look at specifically just your numbers. They don't look at anything else. And me being a diag tech, my numbers weren't really that high because like I'm doing a whole bunch of warranty. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. So plus on the fact that it was for me, it was a burnout factory because like I'm driving 2 hours a day to get to this dealer. It's an hour away.
Oh.
No, it's not 2 hours one way. It's 2 hours a day.
I was like, stop.
So it's an hour one way, hour and 14 minutes, depending on traffic. So I'm having that long drive. I get there and this Mercedes dealer is treating the cars like a Toyota dealer.
That's a good thing. I work for Toyota. We treat him nice.
Let me put it this way.
I know.
So a Mercedes vehicle is a little bit more complicated to work on. There's a whole bunch of like stuff that goes into like just taking the wiper motor out. Like you have to remove a whole bunch of plastic. You got to do it just right. Otherwise the wiper blades aren't gonna sit right. Like it's got to be absolutely perfect. I owned a Prius at my first dealer and I did the spark plugs on it that required to remove the windshield wipers. I had just done a 2021. I had just done a 2021 S-Class wiper motor. And that took me 3 hours to do. Because it was the first time I had ever done a wiper motor. I was like taking my time, making sure I was doing it right. I did the spark plugs on my Prius and I was like, this is made out of sheet metal. I could just take my impact and take it out and then put it back on and it's fine. Like I had that wiper motor out and back in like 20 minutes. It was insane. And I was like, oh, okay. Going back to the corporate dealer. I had 18 cars assigned to me at one time, was given 5 more cars a day, and I was expected to juggle all of this on my own. It got to the point where the car that was at the bottom of my list that needed the most work done, we had it for so long because I just couldn't get to it.
Thank God it ain't my internet, bro. Oh my gosh, I was scared it was mine.
Okay, there we go. Did you guys catch that?
No.
No.
Where did it stop?
It was. Go for it. I was gonna say it was like about you were telling us about juggling the 5 additional cars a day.
Oh yeah, 5 additional cars a day. It got so like the car at the bottom of my list. The car that needed the most work. I couldn't get to it because of all the cars that I kept being given every single day. That the owner of that car sued the dealership, or threatened to sue the dealership, because we had it for so long. And I just couldn't get to it because I was like, okay, I'll try to get to it, but you're giving me 3 waiters that take until 2. And like, I've got all of these other cars that I need to work on. Like, what are we doing here? What is this?
Were you flat rate?
I was flat rate, yeah.
Did you make good money?
No.
Oh dang, but that sucks, bro.
No,
I would expect
not at all.
if you were that packed, you were making like dough.
Mm-mm. No,
Oh,
I could only manage a little over 10 hours a day.
Oh, dude, that sucks, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
And I say I didn't make a lot of money because I was being actively underpaid. My hourly rate was so low compared to everybody else. And I say this because this is a product of having a social media presence like I do. You get connections, you get people in the industry who follow you back, you start talking to them, you talk about pay, you talk about what everybody's getting around the country. And it felt like I had just recently gotten my master's certification at this point. It felt like I was the lowest paid when it came to my hourly rate. I was the lowest paid Mercedes master technician in the country.
In the world. In the world.
Kinda.
That's what it
Probably.
sounds like.
And when I learned that, and then when I also learned, because my service manager there, he was trying to, build me up. He was trying to, talk me into putting in more effort and all that kind of stuff. He told me what the ceiling of pay was, and I was $5 away from it. The 20-year master certified tech was only $5 away from me.
That's gotta be cap. I mean, that's gotta be a lie.
I wish it was, dude. I wish it was, because like when I learned that, and all of this effort that I'm putting in on top of the drive that I'm doing, on top of producing my own podcast that I like go home and edit, I had no time to do anything. I was so stressed out. My mental health was so bad because of all of this stuff going on, to the point where I was just like, why am I putting in this much effort when I'm not making that much money? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing with this? So that all led up to the point where I didn't want to work at that dealership so bad that I went to the final third Mercedes dealer that was equidistant to me, went there, got hired immediately. And on my last day at the corporate dealer, I clocked in 3 hours late in an attempt for them to send me home.
Nice.
And they didn't do it.
How long did you work there before you decided this ain't for me?
A year and a half. I was there for a year and a half.
And that leads you to the shop you're at now?
Yeah, I'm now at the 4th shop. This is the current shop that I'm at.
I was about to say, bro, you ran through 3 dealerships in like the span of like 2 years.
Oh yeah, this is my 4th dealer in 7 years. Yeah.
Dang, bro, that's quite a turnover rate.
Yeah. If I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, I will 100% contribute to your technician shortage. 100%. I'm not dealing with it.
Hey, good for you though. A lot of people won't do that.
Yeah.
Just put up with it.
I had the luxury of being able to do that because of how many Mercedes dealers are around me. And also the fact that my recruiter, when I first started, was like, you can work anywhere in the country. So that gave me the confidence to be able to just walk in and be like, hey, I'm master certified. Can I start here? And literally the shop foreman, or not the shop foreman, the service manager of the current shop that I'm at right now was like, oh my God, my prayer has been answered as soon as I walked in. So it's like, when you have the certifications, you can literally just walk in to any Mercedes dealer and be like, hey, can I work here? And they'll let you. So, which is why I'm like, why are certain dealerships just completely taking advantage of their workers when this is just so readily available to do? I don't understand.
Now we're getting into the juicy stuff.
Do what?
Into the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
And that question is that's getting into the juicy stuff. That's what. Why do dealerships take advantage of technicians? Before we jump into that, though, you talked about feeling like the lowest paid Mercedes tech, and how, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard about dealerships. They frown upon how you talk pay with your coworkers. They're like, don't tell people how much you make. And some dealerships have a set pay structure where it's visible to the whole shop, but that's, I think, far and few in between. I always get curious on why they discourage people to talk about their pay, just like their hourly. Is that because of that? Is that to then say, hey, we want to pay you as little as possible and you not talk about it? Or
that's what it seems like. That's 100% what it seemed like.
I mean, at the same time, it does create animosity sometimes talking about it. Sometimes it's for the better and sometimes for the worse. It depends what kind of friends or coworkers you have at your dealership.
True.
In my dealership, we kind of help each other with it. Like each one of us will say, bro, you could leverage this, you could leverage this, you can leverage how many hours, what's your like 90-day average per week. You could leverage your ASCs, blah, blah, blah. And then because I asked for this, so you could ask for this. But sometimes, bro, you got some of them coworkers will be like, wait, what? You got that? Oh, okay, hold up. Wait, so why did he get $2 over me when I'm better than him? Like, bro.
That's true.
I just feel like it just kind of depends.
I guess I see that point.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about my experiences. Like, that's all I can talk about. I can't really say anything for anybody else. But, like, I started talking to my followers and a bunch of people that I met while in training at the training center in New Jersey, and the people that I met in Jacksonville. And I learned that, so at that time I was at 28 an hour, and I was talking to somebody in Texas who said they were hiring me right now for 36 an hour. My hometown would take me back for 40 an hour. And there's a dealership north of me that no matter what, if you're master certified, you automatically make 60 an hour.
Oh,
wow.
Hey,
and
60, that's some.
Yeah. Knowing all that, it put it in my head to where, if I made 55 hours here and I made 55 hours over there, that's like a $500 difference. $500 to $700 difference. So in my head, I'm like, this dealership is stealing $500 to $700 away from me. I know that's a toxic mindset to have, but I can't stop thinking about it when it comes to that kind of thing.
And I mean, you could use that as leverage. Like, how far is that dealership from this dealership you're talking about? What's the distance?
Like I would have to move. I would actually have to move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but
I'm about to say, if they're like an hour away, you could literally leverage that pay, which good.
Yeah, no. I would have to displace my breadwinning fiance in order to not make anywhere near what she does. Still.
At least you have that luxury, brother.
But yeah, that's right now I'm at a good dealer. So to bring it back to a positive kind of thing, like I just got a raise. I've gotten the motivation to, start working again, because I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of here. That's the big thing. Because like I said, if I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, my motivation tanks.
Yeah,
It's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that for anybody. But I mean, shoot. Curtis, what was the topic that we were about to get on before we got onto this? I feel like we were going to say something important. Or like, why do corporations freaking like try to take advantage of people when it's like that easy for us to go somewhere else? Wasn't that what we're going to discuss?
Yeah, it's just dealerships. I feel like a lot of dealerships out there take advantage of inexperienced technicians or technicians in general, where they don't maybe understand their value, or they can't, and they're in some situations where they just have to deal with what they've got, and that's like probably a lot of people, honestly. I've never, I mean, money runs the world, unfortunately, but I think with more people talking about it on social media and online, and especially with the Ford CEO coming out recently and talking about just the shortage, I think we're kind of moving towards something where the dealerships wanting it one way and the technicians is having it a different way, is coming to something like we're coming close to some type of like breaking point where technicians aren't going to have to fight tooth and nail to get an extra dollar or two here. They're going to be a little bit more highly valued for their master certifications or for their tenure at the dealership. And so I mean, it's a conversation we will never know the answer to, of why dealerships take advantage of techs, but just one of those things. I think it's just the way of the world, and we've got to pick our battles.
Incredibly frustrating, because at that corporate dealer, one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way was the fact that we would have monthly meetings where we would go into this like presentation where they'd show us a PowerPoint and tell us that like our dealership was the highest earning dealership in that area in the corporation, and like we're making record profits and stuff like that, and we get at the end of the year a apple pie. I'm not joking. We get no bonuses, no, like I didn't see a raise there until I was there for like 14 months, and it was you get an apple pie at the end of the year. Congratulations.
So then let me ask you this. How do you, okay, so you just mentioned getting a raise helps you keep you motivated. So during this time at any of these dealerships, when you're struggling with motivation, what are some things that you dig deep on? What are some things you use to help you get through those hard times and you know, to where you can see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Indeed.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Indeed.
Fantasizing about leaving. That's the big thing.
That's exactly what I said. Indeed, any job applications.
Yeah, it's like update your resume. That's what keeps me going. Like, but seriously, like, it's mainly just because bottom line, I love this job. Like, if I didn't care about working on these cars, I would have left the industry years ago because of the way like the dealerships have treated me and stuff like that. If I didn't have to leave my first dealer, I wouldn't. But my fiance means more to me, so that's why I ended up leaving that first dealer. Like that first dealer, the shop had a goal for every month. The shop needed to make $500,000 per month. There were months that we made $700,000 a month. And when that happens, the general manager would come into the shop and hand every single tech $300 in cash because of the effort that we were putting in. And then at that dealer, like we would go on like big old excursions with everybody, like team building events. This is the only place that I had ever worked where the management trusted everybody with shotguns. We went skeet shoot golfing. Like this is in the South. It's in the South. So like it's yeah, right. It's the clay pigeons and it's set up like a golf course kind of. So you have two catapults. You hit a button, one shoots, you hit another button, the other shoots, and then you hit the final button and both of them shoot at the same time. This dealership trusted all of the techs being together, all armed with shotguns, just walking around this course. That's how much we all liked each other, and that's how much we all worked well together. Like that dealership was the best dealership I'll probably ever work at. And I do miss it. I miss it a lot. The dealership that I'm at now is the closest thing to that. Everybody does get along a little bit, and the management's really cool. We're about to have a holiday party here this Friday. Like this dealership is really cool, but still, that first dealership that I worked at, nothing will compare to that. Like that was fantastic. What were you talking about? I completely forgot the subject. I just started rambling. I'm sorry.
No,
about dealerships and the like how they
we talk about the negativity, but like talking about the positivity of the dealerships is, that sets a good example for whether it's technicians, holding the shops they work for accountable or holding their own expectations. Is there's good shops out there. There's good dealerships out there. They're not perfect, but they're doing things that you love to make you happy and to keep you there. And I think it's important we talk about those. So, I mean, I don't even know where we're at either, but just hearing about the positive stuff, whether it's your dealership, Jay's or I's, whatever it is getting that out there helps, because then it's like, oh, hey, there is good shops. There is good dealerships that take care 100%. Of people. You got to find them.
Do not listen to a manager. If you're threatening to leave, do not listen to a manager that says, do you think there's better out there? You really think there's better out there? I know there's better out there because I was at better. That's what I wanted to tell him, but I decided to, lay low a little bit. But yeah, it's I've experienced better. I know there's better out there, and I know when I'm being taken advantage of. So it's like, pick whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah.
I know I'm a comedy content creator, but like behind the scenes, it's been really serious.
I was going to say is, do you get a lot of people that reach out to you about like life as a Mercedes technician or things like that?
All the time. I actually just talked to somebody who's going through trying to get into the drive program, and I'm telling him like, it's awesome. You gotta be an information sponge. Like when I started, I did all the hard stuff just so I could have all of that knowledge and be able to do all that kind of stuff. So you gotta love working on these cars. If you don't love working on these cars, you're not gonna last. It's just, if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. That's the whole thing. That's how I see it anyway.
Wait,
you got a lot of
so you're not in it for the money? So we can take advantage of you, right? All right, thanks.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. There's this other dealership that's paying a little bit more. I'll probably go over there, but
dude, everybody here has been to UTI, man. Freaking, we had a guest earlier. Hey, UTI as well. Curtis, UTI, UTI. I'm the only non-UTI graduate, man. I feel left out and special at the same time.
It puts a hole in your pocket for sure.
It does. I'm still paying it off. So
7 years later.
Yep. I haven't made enough money.
I think it took me 7 or 8 years to finish that.
I would say like the most I've made per year are you guys okay with me talking about this?
Brother, if you want to, yes, please.
So the most I've made being a Mercedes tech, and like with all of the fucking difficulties, with all the difficulties that I've experienced, not including the Patreon for my podcast, $40,000 a year.
Bro, cut. Stop. Guys, do not believe this man. He got to be capping. I
can show you my W-2 right now.
Nah. He said the most, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does that
with my Patreon, I made $50,000 last year.
That feels low.
It's very low. I have no savings. I have very, very little money. I have just enough money to be 100% on all of my bills.
Bro, stop freaking joking.
Most of this stuff is gifts, dude. Like
Stop. He's doing this for the IRS.
No, I'm not. 100%. I'm not. I'm being 100% truthful.
You're getting audited.
I'll be honest, that number feels like someone who's been doing it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So would you say that's because, I mean, you're talking about being a diag technician, which I'm sure there's tons and tons of people that are at a diag tech where they don't make tons of hours.
Mhm.
But what kind of hours are you averaging, like per week or per month, whatever you feel like comfortable talking about?
I'll let you know. My last 2-week pay period was 55 hours.
Less than
And
30 hours a week.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I like 27, bro.
The past 3 years, it's been a combination of poor mental health, low motivation, knowing that I'm being taken advantage of, knowing that my hourly rate could be better, trying to fight through that, and struggling to do so to the point where I just shut down at work. And like, I'll go in, I'll get stressed out about my finances. I'll try to work on cars and I'll just freeze and like go into limp home mode pretty much. And I was not okay mentally past couple years. I was not okay. And that contributed to me like not putting in a lot of effort at work, because I was like, this dealership doesn't deserve me working as hard as I can. So I kind of shot myself in the foot, but it was a combination of just me not being able to function because of everything that was going on. I couldn't handle it. And it sucked because I love working on these cars, but no matter what I did, I couldn't get those hours up. So
is that, you mentioned mental health. So before that, were you flagging more hours per week?
The first couple weeks at my at that third dealer, first couple weeks, yeah. I had a couple of pay periods where it was 100 hours per pay period.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, so I can do it. Like, there's nothing saying that I can't. It's 100% able to do. I just have to be in the right mindset, and I was never in the right mindset.
You mentioned getting that raise and getting some of that motivation back. I mean, are you putting out a 60-hour week this week, or
3 days in, I'm already almost 40 hours. So yeah.
Hey, proof's in the pudding right there. Get that motivation back. Anything's possible.
100%, bro.
So it's I know it's a lot of people will say it's 100% self-inflicted. But
Self-inflicted?
yeah, because I know there's going to be a lot of people say he's doing this to himself. I've heard that before. A lot of people have told me that. Management has told me that. You're doing this to yourself. I think that's gaslighting, but it's one of those things where, like I said before, if I know my hourly rate can be more, but it's going to take me moving and displacing my fiance to get that hourly rate up, I become vindictive. So it's yeah. Because like I didn't start working on cars until I was 27, 28. So
I would say, I ain't gonna lie, hearing your story, bro, it might be like a little, they might have been gaslighting you, but they could have been spitting facts at the same time. Like you even saying it yourself at the same time. Like,
yeah.
You were kind of vindictive about it. Like 100%, they should have been paying you what you should have been worth, especially if you were like, before you even asked for a raise, if you were already like proving yourself, showing that you could handle this workload, or you deserve that pay someday. If you're already showing that and they still didn't give it to you, then 100%, that's a big problem. In my scenario, thankfully, my bosses have seen what kind of hours I can put out, what kind of diagnostic skills I have, what kind of help I can put out in the shop to give me money and to also put me in a position of leadership. So I mean, it's just, I mean, everything got to kind of line up at least 70% or more. And in your
Mhm.
situation, sadly, it didn't line up well, so it
Yeah,
kind of
no.
hurt you in the beginning. So at least
You
you're
know,
doing better now, bro.
when I got that raise at the third dealership, it motivated me for that first pay period. But when I got the paycheck and realized that it was still kind of low, it kind of brought me down a little bit more. And it was funny because when I went to the shop that I'm at now, the money that I made, like I just made 80 hours at this current shop, and that was more money than 100 hours at the other shop, even with like a tiny pay bump just from switching over. So that was kind of all of the reason that I needed to convince myself that moving was the right decision. So
Is there okay for so I'm going to tell a little story and then I'll have a question at the end.
Okay.
I'm a big advocate for asking for a raise every year.
Mhm.
And it's always $1 to $2 every time. You know, unless like you get like a year like COVID, obviously that throws a wrench into plans. But every year is like, hey, $2. And especially when the labor rate goes up, if you're paying attention, some techs don't pay attention, but if the labor rate's going up, I'm saying, hey, you raise the labor rate, can I get a raise?
Mhm.
And that's a hard conversation to have for a lot of people. I've had that conversation with people all the time, just like how can they approach people about it? Now, for myself, since I've done that for as much as I've been in the shop, sometimes even after I get a raise, the motivation might be there financially, but eventually I find that the root of the cause lies beyond just the money.
Mhm.
Where I'm like, sure, I get my raise, and then 2 months later, I'm like, oh man, I'm still not like I thought that was going to help me, and I'm just still struggling because of something else. So my question to you is there something else that maybe you're missing that you're not getting beyond pay? Because it sounds like you're pretty passionate about Mercedes as a brand, but is there something that is maybe you just don't feel like you're getting somewhere between the pay and your passion for the brand?
Oh, I can answer that easy. It's the flat rate system to like as a concept, because like being a diag tech, I'll answer that with this example. Back when I was at the second dealer that I worked at, I had somebody message me because I was starting to realize that I'm not making a lot of money here. Like no matter what I do, my hours just can't go up. I had somebody message me on my social media saying, dude, I'm a fleet tech. How are you not making that much money? And I was like, let me give you an example. Mercedes-Benz has a 4-liter V8 that has a hot inside V setup. So the intake is on the outside. Exhaust comes up with the 2 turbos on the inside, goes out the back. Those engines had a problem with the thermostat. They still do. And where the thermostat is on the front of the engine block, behind the charge air coolers, behind the wiring harness. On some cars, you have to remove the engine to get it. On some cars, you have to remove the bumper, the radiator, the condenser. You have to do all this stuff just to get to the thermostat. The fastest guy I've seen do it can do it in 10 hours. The fastest I've ever been able to do it is 12. And that was after doing it like 7, 8 times. The first time that I did it, when this guy on social media messaged me, it took me 28 hours to do. This was the first time I ever did it. Warranty paid 5 hours.
Hold up. Cut. Say that again.
Warranty paid 5 hours.
In your first time, it took you 28.
Yes. I lost so much time because of that job, and I didn't get compensated by the dealer, by my employer, for the rest of the time. So that kind of radicalized me. That made me immediately anti-flat rate, because I'm doing all of this work. I'm learning. I'm trying to get all this done, and I earned less than $150 for that job.
Took you a week.
So, yeah. And that made me dislike the flat rate system so much.
So what's this? Okay, so I've seen this system before. Do you feel that an hourly system with like a flat rate incentive is like maybe somewhere that needs the industry kind of needs to head in that direction, or is that something maybe specific to techs like in your position?
Let me just say this. If I was given the hourly guarantee with a flat rate incentive, all of my stress would go away. My mental health would skyrocket because I wouldn't have to worry that I only made 50 hours that pay period. I wouldn't have to worry, am I going to have to ask my mom for help for paying for these bills, which I have had to do in the past couple of years, which is like embarrassing to admit, but that's the reality of my situation.
You real for saying that, dog.
Yeah, dude. Like she's been a real one, man. She like my mom is the best.
Shout out to Mama Dukes
on the planet. But yeah, that's if I was on that hourly with a flat rate incentive, all stress would go away. Every bit of stress that I had would go away. But because it feels like this industry, you have to have that stress in order to be a real technician. Sure, whatever.
I mean, Curtis, what's your point of view on that? Like, what stress do you feel like when you don't flag enough hours? Because I know recently it's been kind of slow. So, like, how do you feel and how do you deal with it? Because, I mean, shoot, I know a lot of people could take pointers off of you, brother.
I mean, if you can't pay the bills, you can't pay the bills, regardless of how much your budget is, regardless of how much all that stuff is. I mean, you can budget for whatever number you want. And if there's no work or you can't get the work done, regardless of if you're fast, slow, medium, speed, whatever it is, if you can't flag enough hours, the amount of stress that brings onto somebody is almost crippling enough to slow you down even more.
Mm-hmm.
Where, oh, I'm already struggling and now I can't pay stuff. So now I'm having this dump truck of mental stress that I can't pay it. So now I'm even more unmotivated to work. Because, I mean, I'm not going through that exactly, but I'm on a similar path as you could say. Is some weeks have been hard where it's like things can't get covered because the hours aren't there. It's completely out of my control, regardless of what I can or can't do. I think one thing that I've learned over the last year is budget for the absolute lowest that you can. And also the flat rate system is outdated because, I mean, okay, if you gave me a 50-hour guarantee, I get paid per week. So I'm going to talk on a weekly basis. So you said, Curtis, you're making 50 hours this week. That still wouldn't be enough for me because I've made more than that for the last 5 or 6 years. So I'm automatically budgeted at a higher amount. So a flat rate guarantee would never benefit me because there's no dealership that's going to say, hey, Curtis, we're going to give you 80 hours guaranteed a week. Just wouldn't happen. So it's hard to talk from experience, but from sitting where I'm at, looking at the situation, I think it's absolutely needed for people like in Eric's situation where they're flat rate, they're diag techs, they're having trouble getting certain jobs done, or just the warranty time stinks and that you're taking home $150 a week and you've got to pay whatever at the end of the month. It's like, it doesn't help. Flat rate doesn't help anyone. It helps the dealership because they don't have to pay you when there's no work. They don't have to pay you.
Exactly.
It's easier for weaker management to say just do better than it is to say how can I help my team out.
If flat rate puts the financial burden on the techs,
and it's hard because it can be
when it's slow.
beneficial for certain people, but it's not beneficial for everybody.
Yeah. In my entire career, I've never benefited from the flat rate system. Like, this week might be good, but then I might have a nightmare car the next pay period. I don't know. Could very well happen. So that's
lie, bro. That sucks, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, my outlook on flat rate would be a lot different if I was going through what situations you've gone through. Thank God that I've gone. Mine has been a little different, bro. I work for Toyota, and there's been pay periods where we get paid once a week, and I work 4 days a week, and I've been able to flag like 100 plus in those 4 days. I try to move quick. I just really been like flagging 50 in 2 weeks, bro. That I ain't gonna lie, that would kill me, bro. That is pretty rough to get through.
With it being slow, I had a conversation with my shop foreman at my current shop. With it being slow as it is, I told him I'm going to work as hard as I can for 2 straight weeks, and we'll see what happens. Like, I put in maximum effort. I came in an hour early every single day. I left an hour late every single day. I worked on every single car that I could, and I made 75 hours those 2 weeks. Maximum effort with how slow we were.
You might have to switch manufacturer, brother.
I can't. Well, it's not that I can't. It's that I don't want to. It's I love this brand. I want to become the CDT. So I'm just trying to make it work for me. And being on this podcast is kind of part of the strategy. So, because I know you guys have corporate entities that listen to you, and I'm hoping that they.
Hey, we're just some guys behind some microphones here, just telling it how it is.
Yeah, I mean, you had the president of ASE on last couple episodes, so that's insane. Congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you. That was I don't know what that was. Honestly, it was just happened.
Dude, Wrenchway, bro, brother Jay came in clutch.
Yeah, I think so there's, just want to touch back on what Eric said a little bit. I think when you're young, I'll use like Jay. You use you an example when I use myself and Eric in a different example. Is you live your life is evolving, but you live at home right now. You're a single gentleman. Your responsibilities are a little bit lower. Eric is kind of in the middle. He's has a fiance that has a steady job. He's worked at the 3 or 4 dealerships in the area, kind of running out of options as far as places to work without switching brands or moving. So it's kind of just keeping along. And then I'm in a situation where I'm the sole provider for my family. And if it's slow, then nothing gets paid, nothing gets done. I'm full flat rate. So we've got all ends of the spectrum here on these things. And I think when there's someone in your position, Jay, it's a little easier if it's slow or if the money's not there to kind of absorb and fluctuate. But then there's someone like Eric where things are getting complicated because you have other responsibilities. Like he's between a rock and a hard place. Mine is literally live or die. Like if it's slow, like
yeah.
So I think it is. I mean, I'm not going to.
It's unfortunate that the industry is like that. It's like, why is this industry so cutthroat and so unforgiving? Like that, I don't understand. I don't understand. And as somebody who came in late compared to most people, it's so foreign to me to see like how unforgiving the system is. Because I didn't get any help from any of my dealers when I wasn't making that many hours. I got zero help. So I'm just kind of just barely scraping by with all of my bills. Like they're all 100%. They're all 100% paid. I'm never late on a payment, but I have no money for anything else. So like, damn, man.
Hey, Patreon, brother. that 50K
Yeah,
from
no,
Patreon.
my Patreon has like everybody on the Flag Time Patreon has 100% like gotten me through these moments. Like they have been so cool about that kind of thing. If people listening to this podcast, you want to check us out over on Flag Time, you're more than welcome to. It's a little bit more comedy focused. So
plug the whole thing.
Flag Time. So Flag Time Podcast. We're on Instagram. We got a Patreon. We've got episodes going out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all that kind of stuff. We've been doing it for we're on our 4th season now this year. So we're starting our 4th year doing this podcast. And the tagline of the show is the Automotive Service Podcast that talks a lot about not that. It's more comedy focused. Last couple episodes haven't been comedy focused. We've been actively complaining about the flat rate system. It's just so like my other host, Stirworks. I don't know if you know who Stirworks is. He just completely left the industry after being in it for 15 years because every single time, every year of his career, he's just been screwed over by management. He's been screwed over by people trying to take advantage of him. 15 years ASE certified. Yeah, 15 years ASE Master certified. He's never made more than $30 an hour, which is insane. So he just left. He's contributing to the tech shortage right now. He's not doing anything like that anymore. So like he's an example of just getting screwed over by this system. And we talk about it on the podcast. We also laugh. We have a good time. It's not all negative. It's very positive most of the time. So that's I wish I could be a little bit more positive during this episode, but like the reality of my situation is I've not had a good time when it comes to pay. I've had a good time otherwise. You've seen it on my like social media. Like I try to make my days as comedy filled as possible, but yeah,
bro, you know what we're gonna be doing? We're gonna be trying to do some value building. I think sounds like there needs to be some advocacy for the value of technicians in situations like yourselves where there's not, hey, I'm flagging all these hours or whatever. I mean, you're master certified. There's 15 years master certified. There's no reason to make under 30, regardless of how many hours you are flagging. And I wonder if the situation is, I don't understand it. I don't know it either, but
yeah, there's always like variables. There's always little intricacies about every situation. So
yeah, but I want to let's just not keep it specific to y'all, but I want to be able to help people advocate for themselves. Right. So I don't know what, but I'm going to do something for somebody out there and help them advocate for themselves, whether it's like a conversational thing or whatever it is, but it's just not right for like, regardless, under 30 is crazy for a master certified technician. That's just,
that's not a thing, bro. That's
just stab yourself. That's just not like,
bro. Bro, 15 years in the industry and he never got paid over 30. Bro, I'm freaking by the time I was
at least I don't know. He didn't tell me. I don't know if he made more than that. That's all I know. Is that I'll probably clear it up on an episode of Flag Time. So go listen to the update on Flag Time for that one. But what were you gonna say?
I mean, yeah, bro. I was by the time I was 3 years in, I got over that. So it's just weird to hear someone 15 years. I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, it took me 5 years to get over that. So
took you 5 years. Hey, bro, two more years. From Toyota to Mercedes, which is weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Mercedes, I feel like they would pay, bro. We get paid the same, and it's Mercedes, Toyota, bro. So I feel like that's just crazy.
You want to hear something crazy? The Toyota dealership by me offers the same top rate at the Audi dealership that I'm at now, like hourly.
That's crazy. Like, not trying to discount Toyota techs. Like, you guys do really good work, but damn.
Well, I'm more looking at.
What are you trying to say, bro?
Nothing. That's a joke.
I'm more looking at the labor rate. So
Okay, gotcha.
The labor rate is different between the two, but one brand is offering, well, they're offering the same, but one brand is making more overhead because their labor rate's higher.
Mhm.
Just here, interesting. This is an interesting conversation. Not sort of relative, but it's just like, I think it comes down to the dealership. It comes down to the people willing to pay the technicians, and the technicians that are willing to take that jump into dealerships that are willing to pay them, and whether their situation allows or not, obviously puts restrictions on that. Either way, Eric, it's time for us to wrap this thing up. Do you have any questions for us? We kind of just been mulling along. Didn't even realize it's been over an hour. But do you have any questions for us you wanted to chit chat a little bit about?
Don't know. I guess
I'm coming on that podcast of yours next weekend, so we can.
Yeah, you're going to be on Flag Time. You'll see how unfiltered we are over there. So, but I guess how did you get into, speaking on a future guest that you guys are going to have, how'd you get in touch with Brett, the Mac Doctor?
He actually hit me up on LinkedIn.
Okay.
He was just like, hey, I really love your message, really love what you're doing for technicians. We have a lot of the same thoughts and processes and ideologies. And he's like, I'd love to have a conversation. And then me and Jay have been throwing the idea around of doing a technician panel of having, I think it's about six people total, including us, just talking about things in the industry, talking about the space where it's headed, helping young technicians grow in their careers, things like that. And so I invited him on, and I was like, if we can get more master technicians with similar mindsets, similar outlooks, I think we can have a really good conversation about just, hopefully help one person out there, help one person make their life better, make their technician career better. And he has a good message, and I love to communicate with those people.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to his episode. Like, he's been on Flag Time twice, and every single time he's been on, it's been like a great episode. So he's a really cool person to have a conversation with.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of learn some people on that panel that we want to have on for maybe their own episode, or to include them a little bit more. But it's interesting. This only we have less than 20 episodes, and there's so many people that are like, oh, I want to come on and talk about this. I want to come on and talk about that. So it's kind of cool to see how we've influenced the industry in such a short amount of time, just a few months, about having.
You've had some pretty big names. You've had some pretty big names on the show. That's the big thing.
Came out swinging. So, I'm just like,
yeah. Like it's like my show. We don't have industry heads on the show because it's more comedy focused. Like we got guys like Airplane Facts with Max, who's a Lord of the Rings comedy airplane mechanic, and we've had Cats with Hard Hats on the show and stuff like that.
Is that the guy on Instagram that starts talking about how to fix a plane and then instantly goes into like Lord of the Rings stuff?
Yep, we've had him on the show.
He's
yeah,
hilarious.
That is awesome.
Yes. So our show's more comedy focused, but because you guys have more like heads of the industry, like people who are really influential in the industry on the show, it makes sense that you have this pull. It's definitely there, and it just shows that like important people are listening, and they should listen to everybody's story. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just leave it at that.
Hire me.
Not that. It's just fucking pay me more. I don't know.
Pay me more. Oh man. Well, shoot, guys. If you don't have anything more for us, I believe we don't have anything more for you. It has been a wonderful and splendid, super long conversation with Eric, aka Serrated Mobius. Oh, my dude.
Hey,
it's what time? Nah, I'm joking.
No,
I'm joking.
Not.
It's not that time.
No.
It's actually time to head out, guys. Thank you very much for being on this episode, Eric. Thank you guys
Absolutely.
for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time.